Hi friends! So today we're going to start with lesson 12.2, which is customary units of length. And remember, we were speaking about this the other day and you watched the Brain Pop video in regards to customary versus metric. So all the other countries, almost all the other countries, converted over to the metric system many years ago, but the United States is one of the countries that never did. So we're going to start with the units of measurement that we use here in the United States. So on top of starting today's lesson, what you'll need is the PDF of the workbook. If you were able to print that out, that's great. If not, just follow along. But you're also going to need 2 pieces of preferably plain paper without lines, so maybe the printer paper. If you can grab just 2 pieces of paper, we're going to be making a measurement book that you're going to be able to use for this year and of course next year. So it'll be really helpful. So this is something that you'll hold on to. So you may pause the tape while you go get 2 pieces of paper. It can be lined, but online would be best. Okay guys, so here we go. So they start with the unlock the problem, and today it says you can use a ruler to measure length. A ruler that is 1 foot long shows 12 inches in 1 foot. So here's my ruler. Sorry, it's all marked up because I marked it with 1/4 inches, and you can see it goes to 12. One side, the bigger side, of course, is the inches, as you know. And the other side, there's my metric. There's my centimeters, and the little baby ones, the little baby tick marks, those are the millimeters. Okay, so we know that there's 12 inches in 1 foot. Continuing on, a ruler that is 3 feet long is called a yardstick. And you know, we have one of those in the classroom, probably a couple of them actually. There are 3 feet in 1 yard. So a lot of this moving forward with the measurement is all going to be conversions. We're going to convert from one type of measurement to another. Okay, how does the size of 1 foot compare to the size of an inch? So they want us to cut this out, but we're not going to do that. Okay, so I mean, if you can, if you want, if you printed this out, but I'm not going to. So you would be cutting out all these inch little tiles, and then they wanted you in step 2 to put them together in a line and hold them together with tape. So see this person here, they're going to be making a ruler. It might be helpful if you don't have a ruler in your house, but I don't think you'll really need it. And then step 3 was compare the size of 1 foot to the size of 1 inch. So this almost reminds me of a part hole box. In fact, that's exactly what it is. So here's my hole, here's my 1 foot, and here's my part. So down here, so 1 foot is blank times as long as 12 inches. And you guessed it, we're going to write the number 12 right there, because there's 12 inches in 1 foot. So 1 foot is 12 times the size. Okay? All right, so flipping the page, let's look over at the top of page 648. Compare measures. So Emma has 4 feet of thread. She needs 50 inches to make some bracelets. How can she determine if she has enough thread to make the bracelets? Since 1 foot is 12 times as long as 1 inch, you can write feet as inches by multiplying the number of feet by 12. So let's go ahead and make this chart. So make a table that relates feet and inches. So we know that 1 foot equals 12 inches. And later on in this chapter, it's going to give you, see this table right here? It's going to give you a blank table without the headings, but it's going to give you all the numbers. So you're going to have to figure out, well, what is the conversion? What kind of table is it referring to? And right off the bat, if those columns names were not there, I could figure out that, well, 1 to 12, well, that's got to be feet and inches. So just keep that in mind for later on. Okay, so if there's 1 foot in 12, 2 feet is going to be 2 times 12. So we're doing multiples of 12, and that's going to be 24 inches. And then just write 24 inside the box. Okay, and 3, if I have 3 feet, so 3 times 12, and that's going to give you 36. I'm going to abbreviate IN, okay? And let's put 36 in the box. 4 feet times 12, that's going to give you 48. You got it, 48 inches. And last but not least, because let's do the next one. 5 feet is 60, because we do 5 times 12 inches in a foot. That's why that 12 is there. And that is 60 inches. Okay? All right. So now let's look at step 2. So we had to compare 4 feet and 50 inches. So what we need to do is like I always say, I want to compare apples to apples. Well, I can't compare this right now because this one's in feet and this one's in inches. So that's not going to work. I'm going to make them equivalent by making my 4 feet, since I already figured it out here, how many inches there are. So let's make this 48 inches. And this is going to be, of course, keep it 50 inches. Now look how easy this is to compare. We know that 48 is a smaller number than 50. So I'm going to put my 2 dots by the bigger number, 1 dot by the smaller. I'm going to make my inequality symbol because that's what it's telling me to do. Write each measure in inches and compare using less than, greater than, or equal to. And how I would read this now is 48 inches is less than 50 inches. Okay? So Emma has 4 feet of thread. She needs 50 inches of thread. 4 feet is less than 50 inches. So Emma does not have enough thread to make the bracelets. Oh, poor Emma. Next time she got to go to the store and buy more. All right. Now, look at this question. What if Emma had 5 feet of thread? Would she have enough thread to make the bracelets? Well, again, going back up here, she needs 50 inches, right? If she's got 5 feet, look, we already figured it out. It's 60. Will she have enough? Of course she will. So we're going to put yes. And then we have to explain. Let's put because 5 feet equals 60 inches. And Emma only needs 50 inches comma, she will have enough. Okay. So let's look at this blue box over here. Explain how making a table will help you solve the problem. Well, they want you to note that making the table helped me to find the number of inches in 4 feet. I could then compare inches to inches. So it's like what I've always said. we're comparing apples to apples, and it just makes it more visual and I can see it. Okay? Good so far? All right, so let's look over at the next page. That's page 648, the share and show. All right, so here we go. Compare the size of a yard to the size of a foot. Use a model to help. Now, before I go any farther, look at what they did for us right over here. So they gave us this box, and this is basically what we're going to be making when I told you to go get some plain paper, or if you got lined paper, that's fine. Okay, we're going to be making a conversion box. So just look at this, that 1 foot equals 12 inches, 1 yard equals 3 feet, and 1 yard, if I want to convert the yards into inches, that would be 36 inches. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind. Now let's do this number 1, and then I'm going to stop for a second to explain something else. So compare the size of 1 yard, here's my 1 yard, to the size of a foot. So in each of these boxes, you're going to put 1 FT, 1 foot. We're abbreviating. Thanks, Mrs. Guerrero. You're the GOAT. I know. Okay. So here, 1 yard is how many times? Well, 3 times as long as 1 foot. Okay. Now I'm going to stop there for a minute, and the other PDF that I showed you, that would be great if you can print it. If not, it's okay, because it's going to go, if we were in class, this page would go into our measurement book that we're going to make, that we're going to start the first page right now. But let me show you this, how this works. Measurement conversion trick. This is really great to keep in your head. I constantly use this, and this is going to be very critical in 5th grade, because you're going to be doing 2 kinds of conversions, and I'll explain that in a sec. So 4th grade, we're only going to be using the top part. The horse to the fly multiply. Oh my God, what does that mean? Well, a horse is a really big animal, but a fly is really small. So what this means is that when I know the big amount, and I need to convert it to the smaller amount, I'm going to multiply. So when I know the larger unit and I have to convert it to the smaller unit, I'm going to multiply. So getting back to, let's just say, well, let's look at number 2. Okay. So looking at number 2, we have to complete 2 feet equals how many inches? Well, you say to yourself, step 1, do I know the horse or do I know the fly? Well, a foot is bigger than inches. Feet is bigger than inches. So I know the horse. So then you say, horse to fly, I'm going to multiply. So now you know how you're going to solve this. You're going to solve this conversion using multiplication. Then you say to yourself, okay, the amount I don't know, in this case it's inches, how many inches are there to the amount that I have to convert to, which in this case is feet. So you're saying, how many inches are there in one, in 1 foot? Well, there's 12. So how you're going to figure out number 2 is you take the 2 feet times now the 12, and that's going to give you 24. Okay? Let's do one more, and then I'm going to convert back to the horse sheet again. All right, so for number 3, it's yards to feet. All right, so you say to yourself, step 1, do I know the horse or do I know the fly? Well, a yard is bigger than a foot. So I know the horse. So horse to fly, I'm going to multiply to figure out this unknown. Okay, so now I know if I'm going to multiply. Because there's only 2 ways I'm going to do conversions, either using multiplication or using division. All right, so Now I say to myself, well, the unknown is the feet. So how many feet are in 1 yard? Well, there's 3. 3 feet are in 1 yard. But I need 3 yards. So you take your 3 yards, times it by the 3 feet in a yard, and this is going to equal 9. So the answer to that one would be 9. All right? And again, if I was to draw this out, let me open up my bag here. If I was to draw this out, let's say I have 1 yard. All right, and we said that there's 3 feet. 3 feet. 3 feet. Oh, 3. Duh. 1 foot. 3 feet equals 1 yard. Okay, there I go. There's my picture. So that's 3 feet. Well, I needed 3 yards, so I need another yard. And here's 1 foot. 1 foot. 1 foot. And that's 2. So I need 1 more. So here's another 1 foot. 1 yard. Another 1 foot. And another 1 foot. So how many feet do I have? Well, 3, 6, 9. That's why the answer to number 3 is 9 feet. Okay? Now, let's just look at going back to the horse to the fly and all that stuff. So in 4th grade, we're only doing the larger unit to the smaller unit. But in 5th grade, you're going to have both. So to have both, you're going to be doing fly to horse. Sometimes you're going to know the smaller amount, and you need to convert it to the larger unit. So you're going to have to divide. So fly to horse, divide of course. So it's just showing you the example there. But I don't want to confuse you. Let's just stay up here. Okay, horse to fly, multiply. That's what you need to remember. Let's do the last one there, number 4. So 7 yards equals how many feet? I know the horse. I'm going to the fly. So horse to fly, I'm going to multiply. Then you say, okay, how many feet, the unknown, how many feet are there in just 1 yard? You always go back to the 1. That's why, if you remember, see this here. Remember when we were doing the conversions? This was the comparison sentences. In chapter 2, it was all those multiplication comparisons. We were always taking whatever amount, comparing it to 1. Whatever amount, comparing it to 1. Well, you're doing the same thing here. You're taking this smaller measurement and you're comparing it to one of the larger ones. Take the smaller, comparing it to just 1. So you say to yourself for step 2, how many feet are in 1 yard? Well, that's 3. So you know your other factor is going to be 3. But you're dealing with 7 yards. So here's your multiplication expression right there. It's 7 times 3. I'm going to make it an equation. There we go. So your answer here would be 21. Okay? All right, so let's put this aside for a minute. And what I want you to do is take out that blank piece of paper that I told you to go grab, or lined paper, whatever you have. And we're going to start to make a measurement book. So we're going to make a cover. So even if you have construction paper, that's great too. You can always do this. You can put it on pause and go get construction paper, whatever. My other book that, if we were making this in class, my other book has the title on construction paper, but whatever. I want you to write my measurement book and then in parentheses 4th and 5th grade, and then at the bottom just put your name. And you know you can always pause the tape. Okay? So there we go. My measurement book. Okay, so put that, take that off. I'm working on my board right now. You can see on my floor. So I put that face down. And I'm going to take the second page, if we were in class, the second page behind your title is going to be the horse to fly page, the measurement conversion trick. It just makes your brain, you know how your brain likes to remember things in patterns and rhythm. It loves it. So horse to fly, we're going to multiply. That would be the second page. Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to take a blank piece of paper. I have mine already drawn out. You don't have to make the lines, but you're going to make a smaller box going to a larger rectangle, then a larger than that rectangle, and then the largest rectangle. So 4 rectangles. It's like a flow chart. Kind of reminds me of the Reteach 10.4, which are flow chart. Make sure you leave some room at the top because we're going to write 2 sentences for a title up there. So go ahead and pause the tape now and have your page look like similar to my page. Okay, so today what we're dealing with is we are dealing with length. So up at the top, you're going to write the title. I started on the top over to the left. Customary units of, and on the next line, length and then you're going to put in parentheses USA in the parentheses. So you remember customary units of length in the United States. Okay? All right. So we're starting up at the top, and the smallest unit to measure length in America is what? You got it, inches. So you're going to write that right in the box. The next size would be, good, feet. And you're going to write it kind of in the middle, but leave some space over here on the right-hand side. Because this is what I want you to do. After you write the word feet, make yourself like a little box, box it in, and you're going to put 12 IN for inches equals 1 FT, 1 foot. All right. The next measurement we use for length is what? You got it, yards. So come more to the left. I'm starting mine actually right on the left. And write the word yards because we need some space over here. Okay? So I'm going to also box this. Actually, I think I'm just going to divide it like that. And you're going to first put 3 FT equals 1 YD for yard. And then you're going to put 36 IN equals 1 YD, 1 yard. So there's 36 inches in 1 yard because if there's 3 feet in a yard, you'd have to convert 3 times how many inches in a foot? You got it, 12. So 3 times 12 is 36. Last but not least, there's one more measurement to measure length. Do you know what it is? You got it, miles. So you're writing miles. All right, so over here, I'm going to put a line, and we'll start up at the top. 5,280 feet equals 1 MI for miles. And then if you wanted to convert that in yards, 1,760 FT equals 1 mi. Okay. All right. Notice that, oh, I made a boo-boo. Yeah. So I'm just going to say, notice that. This is not right. This is yards. Sorry about that. Okay. Notice that there's less yards that make up a mile than feet, because feet is a smaller, it's smaller than yards, so it takes more of them, more feet, to measure the same length in yards. Make sense? All right, so now what I want you to do is you just did your first page for your measurement book. So I'm going to put that face down. If you have a paper clip in the house, that would be great. We're going to paper clip this together, and we're going to save it for tomorrow. Actually, the next time we do the next lesson, because we're going to make another page. So put that aside, and let's go back to where we left off. And just look at this blue box here. If you measured the length of your classroom in yards and then in feet, which unit would have a greater number of units? Well, we were just saying that we're going to have more feet, because since feet is a smaller unit, it's going to take more of those than the yards to measure it. Okay? All right, so now what I want you to do is you're going to go off on your merry little way. You're going to do 5 through 10, and you're going to CBT, or stop the tape, okay? And then after that, you can try 11. If you have time, if you want to do the QR reader, it probably will work even on the PDF. If not, no big deal. But you're going to do, we'll come back and we'll do 11. I'll give you more. But go ahead and stop the tape and do 5 through 10. All right, my friends. Welcome back. So I'm just going to write down the answers for you here. 4 yards is 12 feet. Because remember, we are going to always multiply. In 4th grade, you're always going to do the multiplying, not the division, because we're always going to have the horse. So you're going to do, how many feet are there in a yard? So that would be 12. So 12 times, I'm sorry, there's 3. 3 times 4, and that's 12. And that's the reason why I got that 12. Okay, because it looks like this. All right, so the second one, the answer would be 30. Because how many feet? I know the horse, so I'm going to multiply. How many feet in 1 yard? Well, there's 3. And then here's my equation, or my expression. I know the horse, I'm going to multiply. Oh, there goes the phone. How many inches are in a foot? Well, there's 12, and I need 7 of them. So 7 times 12 is, you got it, 84. Okay? All right, so the next ones, this is less than, this is equals to, and this one here is less than. And how you figure that out is the same way. You know that there is, I start with the bigger one, horse to fly. Well, if I know 1 foot, how many, pretend the 13 wasn't there. How many inches are there? Well, it should be 12. Oh, but I have 13, so that's greater. And again, if I have 2 yards, which one is the bigger one? It's the yards, so that's my horse to fly. So how many yards comparing to feet? How many feet are there in a yard? Sorry, I'm getting, every time I record here, I'm getting emails that are coming up on my screen, so that's why I'm getting a little distracted. All right, how many feet are in 1 yard. So that's 3. So then it's 2 times 3, and that's 6. So if I have 6 on this side, 2 times 3 equals 6. And there's 6 already on this side because I converted both to 6. That's why it's equal. And over here, well, what's the bigger measurement? It's feet because I want to multiply. Okay. So how many inches are there in 1 foot? Well, 12, but I need 6. So this side is 6 feet and 60 inches is 72 inches, right? Because that's 72. That would be inches because I'm converting all to inches. And over here is 60 inches. That's why that's greater than. Okay? All right, so go ahead and try 11 and 12. You can pause the tape. All right. So let me show you the answers. Here's 11. And you can have something similar to what they have. Here's 12. All right, so you can pause the tape and try the next on the other side. If you want to skip 13, I'm okay with that. And you can go right on to the other document that I gave you, the PDF, the practice and the homework page. Go ahead and try that. All right, so here's the answers for number... Oh, did you get a headache? I dropped you. Here's the answer for 13. Something similar to that. Here's A and B. Okay, if you want to pause the tape, if you haven't done so already, you can go ahead and do the homework. All right. Here's the answer key for the homework. And okay. And on the back page of the homework practice sheet, here's my answers for 1 and 2. And 3 I had you skip. And here's this. And notice 6 is a possible answer. Probably could have put an inch. All right, that's it. All right, have a great day, friends.